Hey, good morning. I think it's about midnight. Yes, I'm looking at my clock behind me in reverse, and it's after midnight. I don't even know who's up with me, but if you're up with me, just give me some thumbs up and let me know that you're up. And if I don't see any thumbs up, I'll just think that I'm the only one that's up tonight. But anyway, I couldn't sleep. So I got up to do some work and put on my Pandora, which I haven't used in a very long time. I actually forgot that I had a Pandora account. Um, that's what happens with satellite radio because you just kind of forget that you have other stuff, and when time comes to listen to it, you're like, oh my God, I forgot how to use this. But anyway, I got up to kind of do some work, so I was trying to get my office at home organized because it was just so cluttered. And you can't think in clutter. And I think that was part of my problem. And I had to remind myself that I needed to declutter some stuff. A friend of mine tagged me a couple of weeks ago about decluttering. I hadn't gotten to it yet, but I had to get some things cleared up. So anyway, back to Pandora. So I put on my Pandora and just kind of picked the first thing that I saw because I didn't feel like learning a new version of Pandora. And just all this gospel music just started kind of flowing through, and everything that was coming through was speaking to my situation and how I'm feeling right now. We all have our down moments. Now, your Facebook life says that you are just living wonderful, everything is peachy and perfect, and if it is, wonderful. But I'm not one that's going to portray that everything is just wonderful and glamorous and, have at it, whatever. But anyway, so I'm just always willing to be very transparent with the audience that chooses to watch and listen to me. And so I'm listening to the songs, and they're all just really just ministering to me. They're speaking to my heart. They're speaking to my spirit. And then there's a reminder that comes through that song about God favoring me. I mean, just let that sink in. God favors you. God favors me. So in spite of what the negative people are saying, the naysayers, those of us that are, waiting on things to just break through in our lives, God favors us. And when he favors you and he looks at you as one of his own, as one that he has appointed, for those of you who watched me last night, he has appointed you, understand that there are gentle reminders every day in our life about how God, how he favors us, and how no matter how dark and no matter how bleak a situation may be, it may seem like you will never come up for air, you will never get over it, you will never overcome it. Just know that with God's favor, you can overcome every hurdle and every roadblock that comes your way. Those of us who are launching businesses, the resources that we need to launch our businesses, God is highly favoring us. And so he is putting people in position to, bless our lives richly and bless our lives with resources and finances and buildings for those of us who need buildings and facilities and the skill set resources. There's so many things that he is ready to just like pour into our lives. And so, it was just a reminder for me that everything that he has called me to do, I understand what he has called me to do. And I believe that God has called me to speak into the hearts and minds of the people who have lost their courage. Sometimes you could know where you're going, but you don't have courage to get there. You don't have the visible insight, the verbal aptitude to just kind of speak your heart and speak your mind and just, say where you're going. And so I'm just gently reminded by God tonight through that song, God Favors Me. It was Hezekiah Walker, that God favors me. And it was just in my heart to come online at midnight, not knowing if anybody would be here because, everybody else is asleep, to remind you too that God favors you. So whatever plans you have that God has given you for your life, whatever your business, whatever educational aspirations you may have, community, whatever you have been called to do, don't measure yourself against what someone else is doing. Don't measure yourself by your age. I know sometimes it can get tough. Sometimes it hits me. I'm going to be very transparent. See, like I said, I do that because I don't try to come and show that everything's wonderful. But, sometimes we can allow even our inner distractions. I'm too old, or my children are still young, I can't do anything, or my financial situation doesn't afford me the opportunity to do this. Understand that anything that you're trying to do in life, that you have God's favor behind you to make that happen. So don't forget what you have been called to do. Go ahead and do it. And don't let people discourage you. We are in a society right now where people want to just keep people down and keep them discouraged just to build themselves up. If you know what it is that you're called to do and you're very confident in your life and your purpose, don't let anyone distract you. And if those people are consistently trying to distract you, then it's time for you to move on and get them out of your life. But I just had that reminder for me, and I just felt encouraged to come on, and thank you for joining me, Brian. I just felt encouraged to come on and just share this with somebody else, because I feel that someone else needed to hear this, because for some reason, suicide keeps ringing in my spirit. There's someone that may hear this and may watch this video, whether it's, directly through my page or through being shared by someone else. Your life matters. I'm very serious when I say that. Your life matters. Do not allow the negative things that come into your ear and into your spirit to convince you that your life doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who has turned their back on you. It doesn't matter who are speaking negative about you, or they're saying hateful things about you, or you've lost a business, you've lost a home. Some kind of loss has really got you down, and you just feel like there is no other recourse. There is a recourse, and that recourse is to live your life and prove them all wrong. Prove them all wrong. So I don't know who this may reach. It may not reach anyone this week. It may not reach anyone next week, but somebody's going to pick this video up one day and it's going to save their life. I just believe that God will do that. And you need to know that your life matters, and everything that you have been called in this earth to do, you will do it, and He will fulfill every promise that He has made to each and every one of us. It is up to us to get into direct alignment with His word and His will for our lives. That's the problem. Many of us have gotten off course, and we have forgotten. We have forgotten, and you're right, there is hope. There is always some glimmer of hope, and I pray that while I'm up doing this, that there is a glimmer. This is a glimmer of hope for someone, whether it inspires you, it encourages you, it keeps someone from, cutting themselves or taking, I don't know. I don't know. But all I do know is that I am here to tell you that God's favor is still very much alive in our lives, despite how things may look right now in our country, and how it seems, that the underdog is just the underdog. God is always in control, and He always has a plan, and you have to know that He has a plan. So know the plans that He has for you. Jeremiah 1:5, says that before He knew any of us, He had a plan, and He had a purpose, and He appointed us to do a specific thing. And it is our responsibility to figure out what that specific thing is, and go forth and do it. So thank you so much for joining me live, and those who will watch this on the rebroadcast. Share this. And, I see so much stuff that's shared that doesn't do anything for anybody's life. Somebody's life could be saved from this. And I don't pump myself up. I just consider God wanted to speak to someone tonight. And so I encourage you to just share this, but know that God favors you. Your life matters. There is hope, and you have a purpose to fulfill. So I am charging you. I am charging myself to go forth and fulfill what God has called us to do. Thank you so much for giving me these last 5 or 7 minutes of your life. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Miss you too, Guy. Bye-bye.